welcome to you both. Thank you for being on the show.
Did that sound occur in everyone else's head?
Yes. What happened on the last episode of Travel Man that made you decide you didn't want to do it anymore?
Well, I had a suspicion I didn't like travel. And over 4 brutal years, I confirmed that suspicion. Right. It wasn't personal.
No?
It's never been personal with me. It could be anyone.
I thought it was our incredible chemistry and it might have scared you.
Right. Well, you need to have a soul to have chemistry, and I've destroyed mine long ago. So it really wasn't you.
OK.
But we can make it... We can make more of it, or just allow this moment to die in the way it currently is.
Is it OK that View Cinema has pulled screenings of Blue Story? Now, this is a movie about the senselessness of gang violence. It was pulled from some cinemas after a wild brawl in Birmingham, which interviewed 7 police officers. That's not a brawl. Look, the cinemas are now showing the film again, but the question is, should they have pulled it in the first place? I mean, yeah?
Well, what I didn't understand is how they all got weapons into the cinema, but if I tried to take a multi-pack of discos...
And also, your thing you'd steal in isn't a multi-pack of discos.
But also, everyone talks about, like, violence in films now, and, like, you know, how it influences people. No one ever talks about the good things that films have made them do. Like, what about all the people that took up pottery after watching Ghost?
Johnny Vegas, for example.
Exactly. I mean, you're a director and an avid cinema goer.
Thank you.
Have you ever been, you know, moved to violence?
No, it's a compliment, and I'm going to take it.
Yeah. Have you ever been moved to violence?
Have I been moved to violence?
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm in a constant cliff edge of violence at the moment. You know, I think a lot of it starts with the purchase of the machete. I think if we can get that out of the hands, you're really left with a karate chop. So I really feel that would be better rather than what essentially is projected images.
Well, the writer and director of the movie said that the underage brawlers were apparently there to watch Frozen 2.
Yes.
No.
I'm going to call it. I don't think anyone was taking the machete to Frozen 2.
No, I can understand if they didn't get into Frozen 2, that frustration is real.
Welcome back to Last Leg. We're still joined by Ellie Taylor and Richard Ayoade, who we suspect may be hiring his voice out to BBC business editor Simon Jacks. Do you not see it?
For a start, he's far too fluent. I can see no resemblance whatsoever. So I do the voice simply because it works. I can't see... Look, I'm very nasal because of... I didn't know I had a ridiculous voice. I didn't know. I went through childhood and there was no one else around. No one told me. There was no intervention.
I guarantee...
Same here. I had the same thing. Didn't realise I had... And then suddenly, I go on TV, suddenly everyone's calling him fucking Zippy.
Yes.
The thing that gets me about Black Friday is I kind of understand it as in, like, kind of the idea of it as a one time where you can get something which is normally really expensive for dead cheap, like a telly. But it's gone to everything now. So it's like I saw today that Robert Dart's offering 15% off load of products, including a toilet unblocker. Now, who is waiting until Black Friday?
I'll tell you who it is. Hills, because he needs to get his pipes done.
And you, Ayoade.
What a day.
Welcome to the two of you. I'm going to go straight in with the big questions. Aisling, what do you think is going to happen in the next 4 weeks?
Oh, I mean, I think the only way that everyone's going to be happy is if nobody's happy. Then everyone will be happy because no one's happy, because that's fair.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a high likelihood that nobody's going to be happy, and so everyone will be fine.
Right, OK. So no one's left out?
Yeah, so no one's left out. The worst thing that can happen is when someone else is having a good time and you're not. So I really feel like this is going to be a real plus for humanity, where everyone's just going to be really miserable and we're like, and that's how it should be. I think we're going to do really well out of that.
Nish?
Listen, the government was malfunctioning, they didn't have a majority, so we technically didn't have a working government, so we absolutely had to have an election, but this is very much the colonoscopy of elections. We have to have it, but we know it's not going to be any fun.
OK, well, here's a question, because, I mean, no one really knows what to call this election. I noticed some of the newsers are calling it the newsers.
Some of the newsers?
The newsers. I've been watching the newsers. But it's been called the Brexit election, and that does not excite anyone.
Yeah.
So I think our poll for tonight tonight is, what should we call it? Let's come up with a better name for it. Has anyone got any suggestions?
I'm sticking with colonoscopy butt camera election. This is a camera up the anus of Britain. It's going to end with all of us just looking at shit.
I was thinking eat and mess.
Eat and mess is good.
I like that people are like, clever, but not funny.
The thing that I find difficult to take is when people go, I can't vote for Labour because of concerns I have about racism, so I'm going to vote for Boris Johnson. Which is a bit like going, oh, my stepmother is a bit mean, so I think I'm going to live with Darth Vader.
Yeah, the whole thing does feel a bit like a divorced couple. Even your man going on and saying, vote for Boris. Like, that's such a bitchy thing to do. You know, when two people are like, well, we're breaking up, but everything's about the kids and we're not going to let it get nasty and it's all going to be fine. And then, like, 5 months later, it's like, you tell your father that I was having sex with the neighbour last night. and I was making loads of noise. And you tell him that when he picks you up from the creche later. That's what it turned into.
Look, Labour's Deputy Leader Tom Watson resigned on Wednesday and said his decision was personal, not political.
It's good. Good for Corbyn to know that he just hates him on a personal level, not on a
It's kind of this is a big deal, right? Because there are no, or at least very few moderate Labour members left now. Does that feel about right?
Yeah.
Watson said...
None of this feels about right, Adam.
Tom Watson said in his letter he looks forward to having conversations with Corbyn in the future about the things they still have in common, like their views on gambling regulations.
There's nothing like a friend that you can share some gambling regulation chat with. You know, just to be able to text a mate and just say, when the fun stops, stop.
It was quite weird because then Corbyn in his response letter said that he was like, I really hope you enjoy the horseradish plants.
Yes.
When you read it, you're like, this sounds like two spies communicating. It's like, I enjoyed the gambling regulations. Oh, and I too enjoyed the horseradish plant. Weird, like, budget John le Carré.
Corbyn launched his campaign this week with some pretty big claims. He said the Tories will sell the NHS. And that under a Conservative government, food standards would be slashed to bring them in line with the United States. According to Corbyn, this means we would have, quote, maggots in orange juice and rat hairs in paprika.
See, that sounds quite scary, but, like, I don't mind, like, rat hairs. I don't mind them being in paprika because I don't have a lot of it. Like, if it was like...
That's the most London you've ever said.
If it was like there's going to be rat hairs in hula hoops, I'd be like, fuck.
Is that what you use to spice your food? Hula hoop? Do the spice? I haven't got paprika. I'll put hula hoops in the curry.
Oh, yeah, but if Heston Blumenthal did it, you'd love that.
So the truth is, American food standards are slightly different to ours, and in America they say, look, there is an acceptable amount of maggots in orange juice or rat hairs in paprika. That's different to here, but the difference is no one checks it here.
Yeah.
So we have different standards, but no one checks them. So there might be maggots in our orange juice and rat hairs in our paprika, but there shouldn't be, and that's the main difference.
Yeah, listen, I went to school in Britain in the 1990s. I've eaten so much rat, you wouldn't believe... Do you think turkey Twizzlers were made of turkey? They were made of, at best, dog anus.
Also, like, when the crops give out for climate change, we'll all be like, oh, can't wait to go home and have some maggots. Like, our grandchildren be like, maggots again? Yay!
I'm not sure if you guys know, we've come up with a new method of predicting the election this year, something that's going to grow and evolve as the election goes on. We have planted cress eggs. And I know people at home are excited to see, so we had a whole bunch of eggs representing the leaders. We put cress in them, we've watered them over the week. Can we have a drum roll, please? Let's see how they've gone. Oh. Look at that. I even got a visit at home this week from the Lib Dems.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yeah, come round, door knocking early. It turns out...
I love you see that as a visit at home. Everyone else, they're like, yeah, just post it through the letterbox. You're like, do you want to come in? Do you want to discuss politics?
I genuinely... OK, so they knocked on the door and
you look, when you're waiting for the Lib Dems, you look like Lindsay Hoyle during the Rugby World Cup.
Just in a chair, not looking at the TV, looking at the door. So I wasn't going to invite them in and have a chat, and then I thought, no, this could be, like, you know, research for the show. So I said, yeah, OK, what have you got?
You invited them in?
Yeah.
Oh, Adam, were you alone in the house just tending to your eggs? You're like, maybe it's company. Good morning, I'm on my own.
Did you make them talk to your ex?
Welcome, both of you.
Thanks.
Welcome,
Yeah, what
Thank you.
I have to say, what an inspiration you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I do a bit of swimming myself.
Do you?
Yeah, but I'm not in water. I don't.
What do you do?
Land swimming. You do land swimming. It's
What's
yeah.
that?
Well, I grew up in Kent in the drought of 1976. I mean, if you swim over to that. Do you want me to swim over that?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay.
Welcome to both of you. Firstly, Kathy, thoughts on Brexit?
Oh, my God. It's just, the whole thing is just so depressing. But, you know, I don't know what to say, really. I have to watch my language, what I feel about Boris Johnson and what he's up to, and...
You don't have to watch your language in this show.
I will. I will watch my language, because I sort of I resort to bad language a bit too easily.
Does it start with F?
Yes.
OK.
OK.
So he's fucked up Halloween. And now he's going to fuck up Christmas. So I've been telling everyone for years that Christmas is crap. So now everyone will be agreeing with me.
Harry, I am dying to know what your take is on Brexit.
Well, I mean, I get asked it a lot because I'm a sort of hard-hitting political comic. And I can't put it in words, so I actually did a painting to sort of communicate my feelings about Brexit. Yeah,
Okay.
so that if is it yeah. I think he's got it. Yes, thank you. Yeah, so if anyone ever stops me in the street and says, "Oh, Harry, what do you think about Brexit?" I show them that, and that normally does the trick. that normally does. It's me being carried by a giant ape, which is throwing rocks at a maggot with the face of Gemma Collins. I'm so ashamed.
That should be the Christmas cards this year.
Well, I'm fascinated. Would you go back to being a doctor again, Harry?
Oh, well, no. I mean, you know, it's been so long since I, you know, did it properly. I mean, the last time I got involved in a bit of medicine was I was driving to a 21st birthday party in Leicester, right? This is about, God knows, 8 years ago or something.
Yeah.
With the kids, and I come flying around the corner. I got lost, basically, and I came round the corner, and there was a bloke. There's a bike with a wheel going round, there's a car, and he's in the sort of swastika position, as we call it in the medical profession. And so I thought, oh, God, what am I going to do? And the kid's saying, you've got to stop, Dad, you've got to stop, you're a doctor. I said, well, I used to be, you know, and I've forgotten it all. So I get out and I go over to this guy, and my mind went completely blank, and there's like a few people had sort of gathered, and I'm thinking, what do I do? And this bloke said, shouldn't you take his pulse? And I said, yeah, I should take his pulse. And so anyway, I'm doing all this, then I could hear an ambulance coming, right? And this guy, he opens his eyes, and he looks at me, and he says, are you Harry Hill? And I said, yeah. I said, do you know how I can get back on the A46?
Show. Hey, Wolverine's dad.
Wolverine's dad?
You look like Wolverine's dad. I've
You
been
look-
trying to think of it all day, but that's it.
You look like Roger Federer's accountant.
I can't help but feel me as an accountant is not a good fit.
Sandi, you've got a new book out.
I have.
It's this one, Between the Stops, The View of My Life from the Top of the Number 12 Bus.
Yeah.
Basically, I've been reading your book. If ever you've wanted to know what it's like to sit on a bus with Sandi Toksvig while she tells you stories about her life and points out interesting things that go by, that's basically what this book is. It's absolutely lovely.
I just had the most wonderful time. The wonderful thing about buses, I've been on television nearly 40 years now, and very nicely, lots of people come up and say hello because they think they know me and so on. On the bus, nobody speaks to you. Nobody says a word. It's like the best place to be anonymous in the whole world. Everybody's either on their phone or just looking straight ahead, wishing they were dead. I mean, it's...
Actually, I can't travel on the bus anymore
Why?
because
Well, the drunken violence. I keep on getting thrown off.
Oh, no.
And now, I know there's a story in the book. Josh was talking about who he would save if there was an apocalyptic flood, but you did actually save a woman from drowning.
I did once save a woman from drowning, which sounds very dramatic, but
Had you thrown her in the river?
No, no, I was inside the dining room at the Savoy Hotel, and that is not a place you would normally save somebody from drowning. I was at a very posh lunch, and I was very nervous, I was very young, and I tried to make conversation. I turned to this woman, and, you know, she was, I don't want to name names because it's mean. She was a very prolific romantic novelist.
Right.
She was fantastically old. And...
Barbara Cartland.
Shh, I'm not saying that. And I turned to her just at the moment she'd fallen asleep. Because, you know, sometimes it's an outing too many for some people. And she was doing that thing of nodding forward, like, you know, like those birds that used to nod into water, like nodding forward. Like, and the staff at the Savoy chose this moment to serve the soup. And, they managed to put a bowl of broth just in front of her, just as her head was about to hit the deck. So, without a thought for my own safety, I put my hand out like this, between her face and the soup. And she seemed to like this, because she now rested her entire head in my hand.
When you say save from drowning,
Yes.
it would be the worst episode of
Would
Baywatch
just be
ever.
the
wouldn't
terrible.
it?
It was terrible.
Look at this week's on Baywatch, soup.
John Doe said, is it OK the Tories have wasted £100 million on a Brexit propaganda campaign? Look, all of this election talk took attention away from yesterday being the day that Boris Johnson promised we would leave the EU. Yet again, Brexit commemorative 50p coins were scrapped. Meanwhile, the government ads telling us to prepare for no-deal Brexit have been pulled from our televisions. Those ads cost £100 million.
100 million?
Yep.
What I like is one of the criticisms of them was that they weren't very informative. I mean, that's it. £100 million, not very informative.
But 100 million?
Yeah.
Gangs of New York cost 97 million to make, and that had Leonardo DiCaprio in it. Who's in? Like, is these ads like directed by Steven Spielberg or something?
But there's Gangs
E.T.
of
Go
New York
Home.
is your reference.
What's that?
Gangs of New York is your reference.
Yeah, it was either that or...
from 15 years ago.
It was either that or Ice Age Continental Drift cost 95 million.
OK. It makes as much sense as anything else out there. It does feel like they talk about, like, politics now like I talk about sex. We're going to do it. We're going to get this done. We're definitely going to deliver. Oh, it hasn't happened. We'll try again in 2 weeks.
Look, as US Congress voted to take Trump's impeachment process to the next step, and we are going to hear a lot more about that, he was able to deflect attention away from that when he announced the death of the leader of the group we like to call Cis ISIS, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Trump said in a press conference he died like a dog. We can only assume that means he chased a ball onto the road and was hit by a car.
Yeah. I thought it meant they sent a vet to put him down and told all his fighters he's gone to live on a farm.
Here's the weird thing is they knew it was him because a spy had previously broken into the compound, infiltrated his group and had stolen a pair of his underwear that they later DNA tested.
Well, I feel bad for the guy, because after that raid, I imagine you'd need a spare pair of underpants.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pretty sure it was a spy. It may have been one of the contestants on Taskmaster.
So who's the new leader of Islamic State, then? How do they advertise that job? Because there's no pension plan, is there? How about 72 virgins? Is that a thing still?
And your underwear's at risk as well.
Who's taking that job? I got the promotion, Mum. Oh, no.
Craig said, is it OK? I've just followed Alex Brooker and Adam Hills just for the Halloween pictures. Where are they, guys? OK, I'm going to be honest.
Just called my body, mate.
I'm going to be honest, I dressed up last night as a TV host who ate dinner in the office while trying to put the script together for the next day's show. So, my daughter, however...
You should have gone as Wolverine's dad.
You dressed up... I think we've got a picture of Jimmy from last night's Halloween party that he went to.
Yeah, actually, what happened was I didn't have a costume, so I borrowed what I make my girlfriend wear.
Welcome back to Last Leg. We are still joined by Sandi, Toksvig and Jimmy... Sorry.
I'm pretending I can read.